really happened. Spiritual healing from the Torah, Parashat Vayeshev. How can we learn to overcome the damaging quality of jealousy? So the wisest of all men, King Solomon, wrote, "A sound heart is the life of the flesh, but envy is the rottenness in the bones." And they have done a lot of scientific studies that jealousy and envy has a really negative effect on our body and on our spirit. There is a certified guided imagery therapist, Donna Freeman Powell, who says that emotions like anger, jealousy, hate, etc., produce a chemical similar to arsenic. In other words, negative emotions are poisonous. So realizing that, it's really hard to believe that Joseph's brothers, who were the holy tribes of Hashem, would succumb to such depravity. Rather than falling prey to the low negative trait of jealousy, wouldn't we expect from the children of Israel to work on themselves to eradicate any trace of petty envy? And even more so, why would Yaakov in the first place exposed his favoritism of Joseph by giving him a distinguished cloak to provoke his other children's jealousy? And why would Joseph purposely provoke his brothers to become even more jealous by telling them his dreams, and both of his dreams which alluded to his superiority over them? So what do you think about this? Anyone has any possible answer? These are the questions of Nitivot Shalom. I see nobody has, so I'm going to try to answer what he said. So, like it says in the Torah in Parashat Vayeshev, Yisrael loved Yosef more than all his sons because he was the son of his old age, and he made him a fine striped coat. When his brothers saw that their father loved him more than all his brothers, they hated him, and they did not speak with him peacefully. So we see that the reason why they hated him, in other words, became jealous of him, because the jealousy emanated from the hatred, is because they saw that their father loved Joseph more than he loved them. So Nitivot Shalom explains that Joseph was the tzaddik yesod olam, the righteous foundation of the world, and because of that, he had the power to bring down both physical and spiritual abundance to all of Israel, and maybe even all of the world, but just only as long as they recognized him as the tzaddik, and that they would attach themselves to him. So because of that, Yaakov wanted to make clear to all of his sons that Joseph was the tzaddik, and that all their sustenance depended on Joseph, and that they should attach themselves to Joseph. And that's why he gave Joseph the special multicolored dream coat, so that the brothers will understand and would humble themselves and attach themselves to Joseph. Yaakov didn't suspect his sons of being jealous at their brother. Joseph, the reason why he shared his dream was he also wanted to illuminate the point that they should attach themselves to him, so that they could get the sustenance that he was able to bring down for him, that he was able to bring down for them. And he had two dreams. The first dream was the dream that symbolized physical sustenance, the dream of the sheaves, their sheaves bowing down to his sheaf. And the second dream, the dream of the sun and moon of the star bowing down to him, is about the spiritual sustenance that Joseph had the power to bring down to all of Israel and all of the world. So we understand why he felt he had to really tell his dream, both of these dreams, so that the brothers would be able to receive that sustenance by recognizing Joseph as the tzaddik Yesod Olam. Now, what Shalom explains something even more. He explains that the holy tribes was, God forbid that they just succumb to petty envy and jealousy. They truly were above that. But what? Hashem wanted Joseph to be sold into slavery to Egypt. This is what Hashem wanted, because that way he could truly bring down a sustenance for all his brothers during the famine. And also that way Yaakov would go down to Egypt in a respectful way, rather than being bound by iron, what do you call them? What do you call the iron chains? And moreover, Joseph's holiness and righteousness would shine through the husk of Egypt and pave the way for all the children of Israel to remain holy rather than assimilating during the long 210-year servitude in a decadent Egypt. And that's why it was Hashem's will that the brothers wouldn't get the point of considering Joseph to be a tzaddik on a higher level than them. And they were instead got jealous at him and considered, like, because they considered themselves equal to him. But don't think that the kind of jealousy they had was like similar to the regular jealousy of common people. Well, the brothers were so holy that even the limbs of the body automatically did Hashem's will to send Joseph to Egypt. That's what Hashem wanted. And before that, they subsequently would become exiled there. And even as they were selling Joseph, surely the tears were flowing, and they had so much pain about doing that, but they were unable to act in any different way. For that was divinely intended, so that Joseph would pay the way of righteousness and bring about the sustenance during the Egyptian exile. Okay, that's Nitivot's perspective. Not everybody agrees with his exoneration of the holy tribes. I very much connect and resonate with the Nitivot Shalom, but on the other hand, I can also view the story from a different perspective. And from that perspective, it seems to me that the brothers' jealousy was far from ideal. Hashem surely could have found a more pleasant ways to ensure that Joseph the Tzaddik would descend to Egypt, the head of his family. Certainly, we regular people like you and me, we cannot trust ourselves that if we get jealous, it's an expression of the upper will. There's only one kind of jealousy that is permitted, and that is called kinat sofrim, the kind of jealousy that spurs us to emulate the object of our jealousy and inspires us to grow in Torah and mitzvah observance. It's from the Talmud, Baba Batra 21a. Any other kind of jealousy and envy is a poisonous emotion that has a negative effect on both body and soul. The social pain of jealousy is experienced in much the same way as physical pain. When a person is overcome by feelings of jealousy, her amygdala, together with other parts of her brain, swing into high gear, explains neuroscientist Hiko Takahashi of Kyoto University. I'm not sure that I pronounced the Japanese correctly. Jealousy also activates a fear reaction in the amygdala, which triggers the fight, fight, or flight response that increases adrenaline production and causes lack of appetite and nausea, explains Frank John Ninivaggi, who is a psychiatrist at Yale's Child Study Center. The Torah says, you shall not wander after your hearts and after your eyes, after which you may go astray. Bamidbar 1539. According to Jonathan Dvash, a neuroscientist at the University of Haifa, the symptomatic nervous system buckles under the stress of jealousy, quickening the heart and spiking the blood pressure. Left unchecked over time, this could lead to hypertension and heart disease. So jealousy may also affect a person's eyes when she constantly compares herself to others, finding herself staring down potential rivals. Okay, ready for the meditation? Make yourself comfortable. Pay attention to your breath. Allow yourself to breathe slowly and mindfully. Inhale and exhale through your nose. Focus on your special divine gifts and talents that you were born to share with the world. Envision yourself in a role of fulfilling your special dream to accomplish what you're meant to do on earth. Imagine the steps you need to take to be successful in fulfilling your dream. It could be taking some courses, honing your skills by practicing on supportive people, or perhaps working on intermediate projects that will strengthen your ability to fulfill the more challenging tasks that you're meant to do. Become aware of your authentic thoughts. Your thoughts, feelings, and attitudes in this moment. Envision giving yourself permission to honestly express them, even if unpopular. Free yourself to let your own light shine. ואהבת לרעך כמוך. Love your fellow like yourself. Vayikra 19:18. If you don't love yourself, it's impossible to love someone else. Visualize your own sweetness and allow your heart to be filled with love for yourself. Envision yourself engaged in activities that nourishes you. It could be nature hikes, painting, gardening, meditative movements, or any act of self-care that makes you too happy to entertain negative feelings for someone else. Scan your social circle in your mind. How many of the people you spent time with are positive, life-affirming individuals who care to see you reach your fullest potential? How many are chronically unhappy, gossiping haters? If you find yourself surrounded by negative Nancy's, it's time to press the refresh button on your social circle. Focus on all the things to be thankful for. It could be your ability to walk, learn, and pray, your health, your spouse, if you have one, your home, and your access to healthy kosher food. Practicing gratitude makes it easier to focus on what you have instead of on what you don't. Let go of entitlement. As infants, We're taught that the world revolves around us. While this lazy worldview works wonders as a baby, it can be disastrous as an adult. Breathe into the knowledge that no one is entitled to anything. Everything is a gift. Envision yourself wanting something, being willing to sacrifice for it and work hard to get it, rather than begrudging someone else who has it. Stop comparing yourself to others. Why compare your insides to someone else's outsides? On the outside, there will always be someone smarter, skinnier, richer, cuter, more spiritual, and more fabulous than you. But no one's life is as perfect as it seems on the surface or on Facebook. Practice detachment. Imagine all the people, places, and things that you desire and are afraid to lose. Envision letting go of them one by one. Imagine moving through life freely, detached from the outcome of your actions, completely at peace with Hashem's will for you, whatever it be. Return to focusing on your inner self. Behind every jealous person is someone fundamentally angry at themselves for falling short of their own personal best. Allow yourself to get in touch with some of the deeper issues that may be weighing on your heart. By focusing on your spirit, the internal part of you that transcends personality, your resume, outer success and failures, you'll be less drawn to look outside for external, short-lived validation that will always fall short of satisfying the deepest yearnings of your soul.